Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Big Mike here. Hey, Morning Talks with Mike. Man, this is going to be a good one. Okay, there is some stuff going on. Cities have lost their minds. People have lost their minds, and the president has activated National Guard. He has brought in federal troops. And everybody's in an uproar about what gives the president the executive of our entire nation the power to do what he's doing. Well, guys, I have been looking and studying, looking at Title 10 of the U.S. Code. I've been looking at the laws, the acts, all that kind of stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. We're also going to be talking about, I know people have their own personal views, and some of it is political. Some of it is they're thinking this is my moral side. And some people are emotionally affixed to it. So hopefully we get everybody's view on this. If you want to come up and you want to be on panel, then I put the link at the top. I believe everybody's voice should be heard. Everybody should respect each other for their opinion. But we're going to cover some things why as some representative and senators have said, mostly peaceful protesting has gone awry. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Yesterday, Terry and I went to Lake Texoma, spent the day down there, checking out campsites. We did a video. We did find the campsite that we want to have the meetup at on the Oklahoma side. Our next trip down there, we're going to go over to the Texas side because there's like Eisenhower State Park, which is basically up on a bluff, but it has a view of the lake. The Corps of Army Engineer Lakes and stuff like that. But Terry's going to put a video together of everything that we did yesterday. Hopefully it'll be out by 5 o'clock or 6, something like that tonight. It's not that long, but it does give you and show you the area that we were in. We just want to keep everybody informed on that. Hey, and then on the way back, Terry goes, "Hey, you want to stop by Whataburger?" I said, "You know what? I don't feel like eating." She was driving, by the way. And then I fell asleep and she woke me up. We're in Atoka. And she goes, "Hey, you want to go eat at Reba's?" I said, "I could eat some Reba's." And so we went over to Reba's restaurant in Atoka, Oklahoma. And we ate in there. There's a short out there. Terry got to sit in Reba's voice chair that they have when you first walk in. And so go there and check out Terry on the voice. All right. Then, of course, she went up to the 3rd floor to the gift shop. What'd you get? A coffee cup and a shirt? Coffee cup and a shirt, and it costs as much as the dinner. They're pretty proud of their stuff over there.
Cheaper than Harley.
Oh, that's true. Well, it was cheaper than Harley. So that's something, right? So anyway, guys, hey, let's see who's in the chat here. Let me grab the right mouse. Hey, I just seen somebody. I just skipped by. I know Joe Fix-It for you's here. There's Heartland Headquarters with Dink and Tank. Sir Paul Honeyman from England. Welcome in, brother. Do not, Terry goes, do not read Paul's comment. All right. There's my Beautiful bride right there saying hello to people. Home cooking. Welcome in. And hopefully Paul or Tamara, whoever's a moderator in here, will grab these channels and put their links in there for me. There's Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. Good morning to you, Rebecca. Our Life Off Grid. Good morning. Hey, there's Gary at Jailbait Tackling Outdoors. Welcome in. Jaden, good morning to you. Let's see. Hiking with Jackie Boy. Kevin's in here. So, Jennifer Ocean Homestead. Note, if you want to go on panel, yes, go hit that link, guys. Come on up. We'll talk about it. Tracy Michael. There she is. Welcome in. Paranormal Walks. Welcome in, guys. Yeah, if you want to watch some scary stuff, go over to Paranormal Walks. Yeah, they got what you need. I like watching them. Ray Castile, good morning to you. CT. There is Barbara Castile. Welcome in. Arlene, Miss Arlene's here. Mary Yahoo! Welcome in. Always good to see Mary. Let's see. Hey, there is CB Sablawan Family Vlogs. Welcome in. Glad you're here. I didn't see Paul's comment.
It was the Reba one.
Huh?
He left a comment about Reba. That's the one.
Oh. Paul, shame on you, Paul. He says, why not read my comment, Terry?
I said, just the Reba one. No, swear I will.
Maybe he's...
You found it.
I found it. Yeah, I mean, and I will tell you that I had the fried chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, garlic bread with it, and sweet tea. Man, it was good eatings. Yeah, Terry had this big old gigantic pot pie. Man, it was a big sucker. And she put photos of everything on her Facebook page and tagged me in it, so it's on both of our Facebook pages. So go over there and check those out. All right, so we've got 27 people in here, and hey, lazy days ahead. Leonard Mountain Homestead's here, and Jesse, I am drinking from the Morning Talk with Mike cup you made me, so I appreciate that. And inside that cup, our friend Eric over at Greenhorn 1 Acres also has a coffee company, and I'm having Lost Dutchman. I don't know if I can zero that thing in or what the, oh, there it is. I guess you might be able to see that. Yep. And their motto is, why drink bad coffee? And I agree. Very good. I really enjoy the Lost Dutchman Gold. That's really good. So let's see. Listening, getting ready to head to town. All right, Amy. Jesse still owes me 2 cups. Shirley De La Cruz, welcome in. Yep, people coming over from Husky Edna. Our friend down in Australia land. There's Eligio De La Cruz. Butler Family Farms here. Glad to see you. So again, if you want to come up on panel, go ahead and click that link up there and I'll bring you up. So what the heck is going on? It started out as, and I would venture to say that there are nefarious people in the background of all this stuff during the whole Black Lives Matter fiasco, where they burned down parts of cities, people lost their business, the looting was out of control, and nobody goes to jail. Okay. And now there's a new motto in DC, and it's called FAFO. And let me tell you something, it is alive and strong. They're now finding out that you can't just destroy everything because you have a cause. And isn't that what it's really about? First of all, if you did your research, you knew that ICE went into LA, okay? And they had a mission. And the mission was to capture some hardened criminals that they have papers on, okay? Hardened criminals that need a long arm of justice applied to them. Let's put it that way. So they go in and they round up some people, and then people start yelling and screaming and going nuts and all kinds of stuff. And then powers that be says, hey, we could take advantage of this because we hate Trump. And we're going to do anything and everything to make sure he doesn't get his agenda done, so on and so forth. And these people have millions of dollars. Oh, by the way, heiress for Walmart. Okay. Millions coming out of her pocket. We know that. People delivering gas masks that aren't cheap to the protesters, the rioters. Well, they caught the person. They used video camera on the people handing them out, and they made some arrests on them people. Okay. They're supporting the insurrection, if you will. I don't know what they're going to charge them with or anything like that. That's neither here nor there for me right now, because I'm not in LA, nor would I book a flight to go there to do some of this crazy stuff. Okay. So all this is happening. Okay. Now here's my thought, and just bear with me for a second. If you're an illegal alien, you're an undocumented person or whatever, okay, and you could be Chinese, you could be Mongolian, you could be Nigerian, you could be Haitian, you can be whatever you are, and you're undocumented, and you're in fear that the government will come snatch you up. You haven't done no crimes, okay? You haven't done nothing except for break our immigration law by coming into the country illegally and undocumented. So it's in my brain that says, hey, I don't want to get deported. I don't want to leave the country. I want to stay here. I want to work. I want to do whatever I can to survive, but I don't want to go back to the third world country, or let's just say it, the shithole I came from. This is adult conversation, and it's in my description. Okay? I don't want to go back. So if I don't want to go back, I'm going to go out on the street and I'm going to protest and I'm going to loot and I'm going to burn down and I'm going to throw concrete rocks and bricks at the police to show them how much I want to stay here. Let me tell you something. if I was undocumented, I'm just saying, hey, I don't know what it feels like to be an undocumented alien in the United States or any country. But in my brain, I would have to be some kind of really stupid, okay, really stupid to go out there and put myself with the chance that these dudes and soldiers and Marines and all this stuff is going to bash me over the head with a riot baton, cuff me, stuff me, and take me to jail, and then deport my butt. You got to be a real kind of stupid to do that. So this is what leads me to my train of thought. These are U.S. citizens doing this crap. Okay? Now, there might be a couple of psycho people from other countries that came in. Hey, I'm just going to go loot and see what I can get. I got that because they got nothing other than taxpayer dollars being spent like it's, there's no end to the checkbook. And there's all kinds of free services and all that stuff. And of course, California is a sanctuary state. And oh, by the way, Senator Padilla, good job of trying to interrupt a press conference with DHS, and you FAFO'd real quick, right? Because they cuffed you and stuffed you, and you're a U.S. senator. So don't play the game, okay? All these senators are out there going, oh, mostly protest, and you got fires and cars on fire, and you got all this stuff going on. If that's the scale of what mostly peaceful is, okay, because we know what hell in a handbasket is. That was the BLM riots across some of the states, and they did it to sanctuary cities. They didn't do it in Republican held areas. They did it in all these sanctuary cities, and they burned the cities that are trying to help them. They burned them guys down. So that just tells me that the majority, or I'm going to guess 85, 90% of the people out there were not or are not undocumented aliens. Because, God, come on. You got to be a special kind of stupid to be undocumented and be in the streets. Now they're waving other people's flags, from other countries, not just Mexico, other people's flags. They're waving them. Yeah, look at me. I'm a big target. I'm an illegal alien. Come get my butt. I'm on the 101. Okay.
I'm going to have to get a Union Jack before that.
Of Los Angeles. Come get me. You got to be a special kind of stupid to do something like that. So that tells me our crazies, our activists, okay, who can be one and the same, are out there doing this. And the looters, the robbers, the people who just want to do evil, they prey on stuff like this. They don't give a good gosh dang what the cause is. Their whole thing is, I can go into Prada and I can steal everything I can carry out of there. Okay. When they loot and stuff like that, they go to these specialty stores, the Nike store, all this stuff, and steal $200-$300 tennis shoes and try to get out as fast as they can. So I don't think those guys are part of the riot part. They're part of the looter plot, okay? Because they did it in Ferguson, they did it in Minnesota, they did it in Seattle. You name it, wherever there was a riot, looters show up for free stuff. Okay. What do you say, Paul?
I've got my own theories about the riots. Every time there's a riot goes on in a normal American city that's not a sanctuary city, there's not half as much looting going on.
No.
The sanctuary cities, they are trying to blame that, all the looting, on the people that are there.
Yeah.
I personally believe, I could be wrong, I usually am, But I personally believe they are looters specifically targeted to do the job because the people that want to support the sanctuary cities haven't got as much funds as they think they've got.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're sending in people to loot them. That way they can sell it, recover some of the fund.
Yeah. I mean, it is just it floors me that, number one, if you live in Los Angeles or you live in San Francisco, because San Francisco, they have shut down so many major stores have left San Francisco because, I mean, these cities are becoming third world cities. I mean, and if they're rioting and your cops want to do a good job, they don't really want to hurt people. And number two, they don't want to get hit in the face with a brick. Okay. But law enforcement has to, or they fall under the jurisdiction of the mayor. And if your mayor isn't going to make a stand, your governor is not going to make a stand. Okay. And say, go in there and stop this. Oh, just hold off. Let them do their thing. Just, stand your ground. Don't do nothing and stuff like that. Then how do you have law and order? Okay. You have chaos. Okay. And why would you want to live there? Why do you think so many people, millions of people, have already left the state? Because it's led by a bunch of wackadoodles. Okay. There's some seriously mentally something there. If you look at sanctuary states, sanctuary cities, and here's another thing. If you've watched anything and you've watched the Black community in an uproar because they're taking buildings and saying, oh, you can't have this school. We got to close this school down because of funding. And then they open it up for undocumented people, number one, to stay at or whatever. They're taking money and they're getting money to put people up in hotels and give them EBT cards and give them, health care and doing all this stuff for them in the tune of $66 billion a year. And then the Black community said, whoa, wait a minute. Okay. And I watched this in Chicago. Wait a minute. You found all this money. You worked hard to get all this money to help people that are not citizens, that are basically, when they get there, are not paying no taxes, because there's a process you have to go through to pay taxes. Okay. And you have to give up personal information. You got to have a social security number, all this stuff. But you're not taking care of the Black community. Yeah, they're pissed. Okay. I get it. Yeah, I get it. You're taking care of this and you're taking away from us. And now the Black community says, we're even behind, like they feel, we're behind, everything in America, and we're thought about last. And now we're even behind illegal immigration. We have to take a back seat on the bus to illegal aliens. Now, I get it. I don't know what it feels like to be in their situation, because I've never, I was raised on welfare. I know what it feels like to be on welfare and to get secondhand everything because you can't afford anything. I get that part. But man, when your representatives, your governors and your mayors and your councilmen side, your school board side with people who should not be here over you, that's who needs to be protesting. You know what I'm saying?
There's also a lot of coloreds in those illegals.
Yeah.
That's got to sting even more.
Yeah.
But Now, I'm going to really piss some people off here, but I don't care. There's this thing about Democrats. When are people actually going to do their homework and check out the history of the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
Ku Klux Klan, Democrats. I can't understand how they can get black people like Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
She's made millions.
Yeah.
And then there's an idiot in politics. I can't remember her first name. Walters. She looks
Who?
like somebody. Walters.
Oh,
She
yeah.
looks like,
Walter. Yeah.
yeah, she looks like somebody's run a brown brush over somebody's ball sack.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember something. Yeah. There are, by number, more poor and disenfranchised white people in America, but you have to look at the percentage over the actual numbers, because the black community consists of 13% of the population. Okay, 13%. And yes, if you look at the FBI numbers, you got a window open? 'Cause I'm getting a lot of back feed. The 13% commits more than 50% of the crimes. Okay. So if you look at the percentage of disenfranchised in the black community versus the white community, then their percentage is higher by percentage, because
Is that better?
yeah, that's fine.
I had my speakers turned up too loud for the mic.
Yeah, so you really have to look at that, because in that case, size does matter. Okay.
Jesse's got a
Don't say nothing about that, Paul.
Maxine Waters.
Yeah. Yeah. Oprah Winfrey has stepped on a lot of people to get where she's at.
Yeah, she needed
Mark Wildman. Welcome in, brother. So, I mean, okay, let's look at it. The president's power to activate the National Guard is primarily limited to specific circumstances outlined in federal law, primarily in the Title 10 of the U.S. Code. Generally, the president cannot call up the National Guard into federal service unless, okay, or however, there is a national emergency or war. There is a rebellion or danger of rebellion. The president is unable to execute the laws which with general force, meaning law enforcement. Okay, that means the FBI, Homeland Security, whatever. He can't do anything, and it's getting out of control. So he can call them up if one of those three things have been met. The Insurrection Act. This grants the president authority to deploy federal troops in certain situations, including where there is domestic violence or insurrection. Okay. And this is found in Title 10, Section 12301. This section outlines the president's authority to call up the National Guard into federal service. It allows mobilization for a war, national emergency, or if the president is unable to execute federal law. And ICE is federal law. Immigration is federal law.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the Insurrection Act, this law allows the president to use the military domestically, including I said the military, which means the federal troops, the people who are trained to kill people. That's their job. Okay. because everybody, when you go to boot camp, you're first trained as an infantryman. Then you go to your specialty training. So for the federal troops, all right. Now, there is a law called the Posse Comitas Act. Comitas. There you go. Thank you, Terry. This act generally prohibits the use of military for civilian law enforcement. But there's that but again. All right.
Yeah, there's a big but.
But the Insurrection Act provides the exception to this specific act. So what that means, if the Posse said, hey, you can't use this because it was developed back in 1781 or whatever the case was, whenever they wrote it, 18 whatever, then they came up with the Insurrection Act that supersedes that original act. So that's why he has the power to call up federal troops, okay, to call up the National Guard above and beyond the governor's control, because the governor has control over the National Guard until, okay, the feds come in. And the troops are there, number one, to protect federal buildings, to protect federal employees from additional harm. And that's what they're using to go in there and crack heads. All right. I haven't seen one instance where the military had gone in and just mowed people down with rubber bullets or whatever, because they're very good at that. We are not good. I
We
can
taught
speak.
you well.
I've been in deployed to police actions. Bosnia, let's look at Bosnia. I was over there. I did 3 tours in Bosnia, and that's a peacekeeping mission. Okay. We're not good at it. You train us from boot camp on up to kill, 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 kill. That's the motto. Okay. Because the people who do all the jaw jacking can't come to a resolution. And when that fails, that's when boots on the ground and mud holes are stomped. Okay. So if the police can't handle this and put all this stuff to rest, and today's the big day, guys, all these protests are scheduled and you're going to be flooded with information. Now, hopefully they're peaceful protests and nobody's going to the protest with some kind of Molotov cocktail or bricks and stuff like that. Because as soon as that happens, again, FAFO, somebody's going to get hurt, whether it's a cop, and if a cop gets hurt, then these guys go into full battle rattle. And I'm sorry. Once one idiot in your group does it, get ready for some stitches, okay? Because something's going to happen when you hurt one of their own. I'll tell you that right now.
Guarantee it.
Look, if somebody shoots a cop, man, they find that person. They don't stop, okay? It's not like somebody went out there and they got killed and they don't know them, but all they got to hear is a cop got killed and they're on it, doggone it. So I'm hoping everything is peaceful. I really do. I hope people, and it's the thing that that makes me sick is that politicians sit there and they're actually egging this on.
Yeah.
Right. They're doing the same playbook. They repeat the same thing. And if you're a voter, how can you live in America where this is supported? Not just this one, all this stuff. Okay. Every time the president wants to do something, let's take him to court. I mean, that's what kids do. That's what spoiled rich people do. Okay.
Democrats.
If you talk to me like, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to take you to court. Okay. Well, don't get in my face and think you're going to do something. And then all of a sudden when you get your butt kicked, now you're going to go to court. Okay. So I am talking with the voice of a veteran that that I can't believe my America is turning into this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all for people coming to the States, a better life, do your paperwork, study your citizenship test. Because I had soldiers that weren't U.S. citizens, and I watched them work hard and their whole family work hard to become U.S. citizens. Because you can't make E6 in the Army. I can just speak of the Army. You have to be a U.S. citizen because it's a mandatory security clearance, okay, at the grade of E6. So with that being said, these guys that were under my charge studied their butts off. Even when we were deployed, field exercise, whatever, I seen him in there, and I seen his battle buddy, you know, quizzing him and stuff like that, or her quizzing her to pass that citizenship test. You know, those are the people who are committed to become Americans.
People that are committed to
I'm all for that, and I support it 100%. But if you come in the country and you want to bring your third world crap with you and act like you're back in Colombia or you're back in wherever you came from, and you're going to do it here, and you're going to be part of a protest because I want America to change to my standards and not your standards. You're in the wrong country. Okay. You're in the wrong country. I mean, because people aren't going to put up with that crap, you know? I'm just happy that, you know, good old boys haven't lost their minds and joined this to hurt people that are protesting. I remember when a bunch of these good old boys went down to the, you know, Arizona border, and they were helping Border Patrol. If you don't catch them, we will. And all they do is put in their, you know, deer hunting skills to work, capturing people and stuff like that. And when we lived down in Sierra Vista, you could go along the border ranches, and farmers would capture, hog tie, zip tie people coming across their land, take their hat, and they pin it to the fence. And you see all these hats on these fence lines of all the people that these ranchers capture. Now, when they get to that rancher's hat, that means they're past the first zone and they're gotaways. And then these ranchers pick them up. Now, I don't know if they sit on their back porch with, you know, binos and see when they're coming and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm surprised there's not more people killed within that first zone by these ranchers and stuff for trespassing, you know, but I'm just saying. Now,
I knew this was a second cup of coffee day.
yeah. So, then you got the state governors. State governors generally have authority to call up the National Guard into the state service for emergencies within their state. But when, in this case, Gavin Newsom, Mr. Do Nothing, he's part of the problem, along with all his cronies. You're not prosecuting people. You're just catching. They commit a crime and you release them. You're not prosecuting them, and so on and so forth. When that fails, and then the federal government comes in, don't sit there and whine and cry, because as soon as they've sent their troops, Gavin Newsom tried to put an injunction on the president in the federal courts, and they denied. They said, no, you don't have a leg to stand on. We are not going against, all right, federal law. Remember, I'm a federal judge. And so they said, man, we're not going to win this one. we're already seeing left and right. Supreme Court is emergency things deciding all these cases, and they're losing and they're losing and they're losing. Now that they've lost case after case, now let's start the rioting, because the legal way we can't control that because he's got the Constitution on his side. Okay, let's see. Great Treasure, how you doing? Welcome in. Let's see if I missed anybody. Hey, there's Merns Pacquiao. How you doing? Our dear friend over there in the Philippines. There's O'Rourke's Littlefield. Jesse's putting links in.
Of course, Jesse's putting links in. That's why we call him the Modfather.
That's right. Debbie Drock, welcome in. So it kind of behooves me that when you don't do nothing as a governor or a mayor, and then when somebody steps in, you know, it's kind of like parenting, I guess. The mayors and the governors, and you're not doing a very good job, and you create this monster. In your mind, you might think you're doing a great job. Okay, peace, loving, everybody's equal, blah, blah, blah. Oh, these poor 21 million people, you know, we need to take away from the rich and give to the poor, and stuff like that. When all that fails, okay, and Big Brother has to come in and put a boot in your butt, and then you whine and cry that he's doing something towards your problem that everybody sees. Everybody sees this, okay? But then you got all these politicians. Oh, don't believe your watching eye or your lying eyes. This is just a smoke screen. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, you know? And that's what they want you to believe. And they keep feeding this freaking lie. Okay. I watched the thing the other day. It was on CNN, because I watch CNN, I watch Fox, I watch MSNBC, because I want to know
What lies they're telling you.
who's crazier and what is the other side thinking. So I watch all this stuff. All right. And they put up a poll. They were talking to a congresswoman, and they said, here is the latest CNN poll from 100,000 people polled. Okay. You are rated, the Democratic leadership is rated at 27%, that you're not doing a good job. Only 27% think you're doing a good job. 27%.
Mike, that's 27% out of 100,000. So that's 27,000 people.
Yeah. All right. You're not doing a good job. So if you take the sample of 100,000 people and you say, okay, we've got this, and now let's apply that to 335 million people. Okay. It just behooves me that they don't understand that they're doing it wrong. Okay. Now, if I was king for a day and I could snap my finger and every criminal was deported and they were gone, and it left the hardworking family people who want to make a difference, people who want to be here, then I'm good with that. I am 100% good with that. But I am not good with people committing murders, chopping people up, raping college students, shooting people for the fun of it, okay? Drunken driving and killing people, okay? I'm not for that. And if you're for that, something's mentally wrong with you, and I'm going to say it. Something's wrong with you if you're okay with that. MS-13, Trinidad and Aragua, the cartels, all terrorist organizations. If you're fine with that, if you're willing to spend taxpayer dollars and fly down to El Salvador to visit with an MS-13 gang member that, number one, has been in court several times, has been linked to MS-13, has been linked to child trafficking, okay, and women trafficking and labor trafficking. If you're good with that, again, something is mentally wrong with you. I am for good people wanting to come to America, wanting to become U.S. citizens, willing to take the citizenship test, wants to be an active, integrative person in the role of a citizen in this country, then I'm fine with it. Okay? I am fine with it. But if they catch you and you're a criminal, just be ready to be cuffed, stuffed, and flown out of here. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what 27% of 335 million is?
What's that?
90,450,000.
Okay.
So if the entire United States is 27% behind these bloody idiots that are doing this, that's a big, well, that's a lot of people.
That's more than there are Brits.
No.
No,
Really?
it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
Yeah. There's 147 million of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
but I totally agree with everything you
problem
said.
over there with migrants.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
And I don't think the Parliament realise they're not the ones that should solve this.
Yeah.
There's a thing when we take the oath of allegiance for the forces.
Yeah.
And government is not our national be-all and end-all.
Yeah.
Even though he's supposedly got no power, if the king gives an order, the forces have to obey it.
Right.
It's the same way Trump's doing now, what you're doing. What Trump's doing now, King Charles should be doing. He should tell the Navy no more gets across.
Yeah.
And then government should go to him and say, you can't do that. Why can't I do that? You're there. You're the intermediary.
Right.
And that was put down in the Oath of Allegiance. Now, Trump is the commander-in-chief of all American forces.
Right.
He's also the civilian leader.
Right.
While he's in office, why are people being stupid and totally ignoring his power?
That's like trying to figure out a woman. Nobody knows.
Don't go there. Don't go there. You're married. I'm single.
You're going to stay single.
I can see Terry getting ready to swing that skillet.
Oh man. Yeah. So,
that's why the Democrats are getting away with so much. Look who their leader is.
There is our Northwood Peachtree. Welcome in, brother.
You got Nancy Pelosi, the biggest prune going.
Hey, Michael, welcome in.
No, I said prune, not prude.
Yeah. And then
Your
there's
face that looks like a dried prune. Good morning, Kim.
And there's Blue Screw. Welcome in, guys.
I totally agree with that, Jamie. Trump is uncovering all the crooks. And what he should do is confiscate their bloody wealth and put it back in the pot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you watch how fast
they have recovered out of all this stuff, that the money that hasn't been spent. They have recovered $145 billion.
Yeah,
Uh,
145
You
billion.
get a government contract.
That
You
might.
move money around so they can't come back and sweep it out. And that's because I was a government contractor for 2 years, and I understand how they are looking at once you get government money, you need to get rid of it or you need to hide it. But what they actually said, oh, you still got this money in the bank. They swept it, and that's to the tune of 140 to 145 billion dollars. Now, again, all the contracts stopped, so we're not dishing out that money. And if you remember, $77 billion, all right, in tariffs have already been made in less than a month. $77 billion in tariffs have already gone into the treasury. Okay.
Yep.
That
Trump is doing what we should be doing.
We've never seen money like that ever, but it's going into the treasury. So here's something that people say. Trump is a tyrant. All right. His entire regime are tyrants.
Yeah.
Okay? But listen to this. All right. This is history. Barack Obama, our former president, removed approximately 3 million non-citizens during his 2 terms, earning him the monarchy of the porter-in-chief, okay, from immigrants' rights activists. Okay, 3 million under his 2 terms.
What else did Barack Obama do?
We're not talking about what else he did.
Yes, we are.
We know about the cages and all that stuff on the border he built. We know about all that.
But what else did he do?
He did nothing.
Oh, he did. He gave away over $120 million to Muslim states in the Middle East.
I think if I remember correctly, it wasn't the millions, it was the billion. Because remember when they flew that money to Iran and they took it out on pallets out of a C-131 and they delivered cash. Where they came
that was the first payment.
I have no idea. But that's a different thing. George W. Bush, his administration saw 2 million non-citizens removed from the United States, including returns. The number reached roughly 10 million. Okay. That means they came to the border and they got turned away. Okay. But 2 million he got rid of out of the United States. Bill Clinton, he was one of our nicer presidents. Bill Clinton's administration conducted approximately 870,000 formal removals during his 2 terms. Now, Donald Trump, under his first term, Trump saw over 1.2 million formal removals. During his Trump 2.0 so far, he's only at 37,660 during the first month, far less than Biden's average. Now we get to Joe Biden, and people don't know this about Joe Biden. Joe Biden, as of late 2024, and that's when it stopped and everybody started flooding. Biden overseen 1.4 million deportations, okay? Not including expulsions under the Title 42, which ended in May of 2023. That's when he stopped the Title 42, including Title 42 expulsions, which occurred mostly under Biden. The number reached 3.4 million people were turned away. But 12 million people got in. Okay? So those are facts. That's history. That's happened. They know. Everybody knows that happened. You can't dispute it. The numbers don't lie. Okay. Now, here's my thought. What if you're a law enforcement person and you're ordered to go out there and squash all this garbage, all this rioting? Protesting is good. It's healthy. Rioting is not healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to stand there and get spit on and hold your tongue. And when your brain's working, I just want to bash this person in the head. Okay. I was a cop. I understand. When I was in the military, we had race wars, whites against blacks. The Latinas they stood back and watched the show. It was crazy time back in the 70s and early 80s in the military. Barracks were black and white still, and they did it by choice. Okay. It was a crazy, crazy time. And I understand going into one of these things and you're law enforcement and you're trying to do what you're ordered to do. But I'm going to tell you something. There's cops that are going to get their butts handed to them if enough people start beating on these guys, or some idiot pulls out a pew and gets stupider than heck. I get all that. Okay. But don't complain when they're burning down your city. And most of these people complaining online don't even live in LA. They're so far freaking removed, but they got to say something. Okay.
What do you think they come on here?
Water cannon. And then the headline says, in one of the California newspapers says, or the online newspaper says, charges should be brought against the city and the LA Fire Department for wasting water because we're on a water shortage. Because they brought out the water cannon. And if you've seen people hit by a water cannon, watch the videos and watch them fly across the street.
It's hilarious.
It's crazy.
It's hilarious.
It probably feels like Mike Tyson just hit you in the gut back in his prime. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been hit with a water cannon?
All the rubber bullets, the non-lethal bullets that these people are firing. I've been hit with a non-lethal bullet, and I'm gonna tell you something. That bruises to the bone. To the bone.
7 months before my bruise left.
Regular rifle, because they've got their ARs full of these things. And when you get hit 3 or 4 times in the chest, you're going to say, man, I'm calling it a day. I got to get out of here, you know? So then the mayor stops and says, okay, we're going to put in a curfew. All right. We need to take a break. This has been going on for 6 days now. We need a curfew. We need people to go home when it gets dark. And, we'll pick this up in the morning, basically. All right. And while they're doing it, the looters are still looting. People paying taxes who have stores and grocery stores and whatever mercantile are getting robbed by these people, which is probably another part of the whole problem. They're coming in. They said, this is it. This is where we make our money. We can hide it in my uncle's basement, and then when it all cools down, we can take it back on the street and we can sell it. Okay. That's the problem. Those people are losing their livelihoods. Okay. Could you imagine you want to keep a store open in downtown in that area, or San Francisco, where all the businesses are leaving and stuff, and you got to pay insurance? Could you imagine what that's going to cost you?
Read Debbie Dry.
Oh, there it is. I was behind one of those fire hoses, full bore, lifted me right off the ground. 2 firefighters held me down. Yeah, dude, that is like getting punched in the chest by Mike Tyson. It's crazy. It's insane. And I like watching the videos, because stupid people doing stupid things, and then they
Deserve
get
stupid prizes.
somebody put a paddle to them. Daddy came in and spanked your butt, and they don't like that stuff. Okay, there's a thing called being too free
Yes.
in your brain that you think you can do whatever the heck you want with the and there was a time when you could do anything you wanted. You could burn down cities, you could burn cars, you could loot stores, and nothing would ever happen to you. Okay? They're just trying to express themselves.
Yes, and now it's time for people to get back.
There's an actual person that's saying that's not right. And now everybody's whining. They're building these narratives because, we just got spanked. Okay? Remember the day when I was a kid, your parents, when they registered for school, here, sign this. This gives us a right to just beat your son's butt when he screws up.
Yeah.
Okay? And
That was the first thing my dad signed.
I was a receiver, and I wasn't scared of the principal when he did it. Our vice principal was a football player, and he had arms bigger than my head, and he would lay into you. I made the desk move when he made contact. He goes, "Now get back to class. If I see you again, you're getting 2." Man, I'm going to tell you something. After about 3 of those, I go, this ain't paying off.
You got 1 or 2.
Stop my stupid stuff and start studying and being a good student. Because that dude, that's probably why I have hip problems now, because a big oak board just wore my backside out.
They started with 5 with us.
Yeah.
We went 5, then we went 10.
Yeah.
The first thing my dad did when we started a new school was sign all the consent forms. If he misbehaves, you bloody teach him.
Yeah.
And then government came in and said, "Oh, it's wrong. You can't do that anymore."
Yeah, they do. And that's what I'm worried about. And people that live out in the country, they look at, because I look at it like this.
I wish I could, Jesse.
Why in the heck would you want to live there?
Yeah.
When you could go out, find a reasonably priced place. I get it. There's a lot of people that live in the inner city that live in Section 8 housing, which is government subsidy and stuff like that. They're living day to day and they're trying to survive. Okay, I get that. But I wouldn't, if you grew up in that situation, in that inner city, why would, as a parent, I know every parent wants something better for their children, but we're repeating the process. We're growing the inner city time and time again. More people each year are being born into the inner city, going through the same thing, living the same lives, having to deal with this. Am I going to get shot today? Is today my last day walking to school? And on and on and on. I don't know what that feels like. I lived in the edge of the barrio in Arizona when we grew up. And where I lived, the Maldonados, the Lopezes, the Perezes, Gilbert, my friend Gilbert, Joe Lopez, Felipe Perez, Leon Braggett. All my friends were Mexican. Okay, that's who I grew up with. All my friends, every fight I got into was with a Mexican. But I have no animosity. I absolutely adore their culture. I love the family atmosphere, the togetherness that they cultivate, the what is that word I'm looking for? The loyalty to the family. A lot of families don't have that. There's no loyalty. Okay. They just, whatever happens, man, it happens. But I'm going to tell you that people need to stop and think that there are so many good people that came here that want a better life. And if given the chance and the affordability, and why the government is charging so much money to become a citizen is beyond me, because what are they paying for? You know what I'm saying? What are you paying for?
The way things are going, they're paying to get robbed.
Yeah, if you're filing paperwork to be a citizen and you go to the federal building, those federal employees are already getting paid. And they say, okay, that'll be $4,000, blah, 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 or it'll be $500 for this, and yada, yada, yada. They're already getting paid. Make citizenship or the process
Good morning, Michael.
Easy. Don't waver from it. Make the standards just as hard. But why? Why? It's like you go get a passport. It's $130 frickin' to get a passport. That book didn't cost $130. The government employees that are processing are already funded by me, the taxpayer. So it's a money racket.
Yeah.
Okay. And if people's only reason for not applying for citizenship is it's just too freaking expensive, okay, and when you have to have a lawyer help you, then it's too complicated. Okay? I'm all for those people becoming citizens. They want to work, they want to pay their taxes, they want a good life for their family, but I am not good with you gangbangers, you terrorists, all you people coming in here to do evil. You got to go. And if it takes ice cracking heads to get to those people, so be it. Just stand to the side and let them take the bad guys out.
Yep.
Everybody complains about gangs in their towns and their big cities and all that stuff, but nobody wants to step to the side and say, hey, here comes somebody that will take you out, okay, and send your butt down to a third world country and you'll rot in prison. I'm good. I'm absolutely.
Most of those are going back to their own country in that prison.
Yeah. And don't let them back in. I don't give a crap. Now, if you're a student here and you're playing dumb games, okay, and you're a student on a student visa,
bye-bye.
You're out there, anti-Semite, and you're doing all this thing against the Jewish community, or you're doing it against the Muslim community, or you're doing it against the black community, whatever you're doing it against, and you're doing this, pull that visa and ship them home.
Yeah.
Pull it. And then our Secretary of State, he does it, and then they have him before contract. How dare you? What gives you the right? I'm the freaking Secretary of State that authorizes student visas. I'm pulling them. If you're going to act like a freaking idiot, I'm pulling it. Get back to your country. Tell your parents, hey, I was over there acting stupid and protesting. They pulled my student visa. Bye. And if you're a college that allows this to happen, screw your federal funding. All right? That's just me. Okay? Don't make me president because you
Mike
hate
for
me.
president. Vote now. Mike for president. Vote now.
Yeah.
But I want to get back to something you were talking about before. These idiots that are running the cities and allowing it to happen. I mean, you're on about mayors that don't want the governor to go in, and the governor don't want to go in because he's going to piss off the mayor. A governor that won't piss off a mayor is a wasted time.
Yeah.
It's useless. It's supposed to be there to help the people, not get his arse scratched every time he wants to bend over.
Yeah.
And the mayors, if they're not backing the police department and the fire brigade, they should be arrested because they are not putting the people first.
Yeah.
Politics is supposed to be people first. I don't care if you've given your brother a couple of grand just to get the contract. If you're putting the people first, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you've paid him a couple of million and you're doing piss all for your county or your town,
Yeah.
you should go to prison.
Yeah.
You should lose all your finances.
Yep.
I mean, your veteran system, your homeless veterans are just about as bad as ours. We are finding more veterans on the street now than we've realized.
Yeah.
I mean, we have started things where veterans can actually build their own homes.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting thrown out and left, they're actually taught trades where they can build their own home. And the only thing that's being financed through charities is the building supplies. The whole group of people they start off on bare land. From bare land, they get the infrastructure put in.
Yeah.
And then they teach them how to build. Proper builders that were in the engineers in the army.
Yeah.
They're teaching them the way it goes. They're getting trades.
You know, for most folks, when people are given stuff, when you're given stuff, you don't take care of stuff. When they build all these Section 8 apartments and all that stuff, if you go through cities, all of a sudden you'll say, oh man, you just notice it right away that you're not on the part of town you need to be on. You don't take care of it. But if you work and you build something, you take care of it. It's kind of like a teenager with a car. You know, if you don't make your kid work for that car and pay their own car insurance, go out and get a job, you're doing them a disfavor. And I was guilty of that because I was deployed all the time. I worked all the time, and I gave my kids everything that they wanted and not everything that they needed. I gave them that, but I gave them everything they wanted on top of all that stuff because of my guilt as a single dad. So, you know, they didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't. But kids who are made to work, and if you buy your kid a car and or a truck and you live on a farm and that kid is working his butt off as a ranch hand every single day, that's it. When you stop producing, we start taking things away. And now the big thing is you don't spank your children, you reason with them, but now you take their cell phone and you watch a teenage kid when you take their cell phone, you might as well just cut off an arm. Okay? Hey, that is my right as an American. You can't take, man, you ain't paying the bill. I didn't take their phones. I just called AT&T. I would like this line off.
Yeah.
I don't want to get rid of it. I want it shut off. Yes, sir. I said, I'm disciplining a child on this end, and I want it shut off. Okay? I don't want them sneaking around trying to find their phone and get back on it. I want it cut off. And I will call you when I want it turned back on. I'm still paying for it. Okay? I'm still paying for it. Because a teenage kid, if you went in there to get a plan, heck, it's going to be $400 or $500 deposit because you can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Just the bottom line. So that's why parents have them on their plans and stuff. Hey, look at here. There is Marco. How you doing?
That's all right. I said hello to him 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. So, but the point is when you're given stuff, you're not you don't take care of it. But if you have people work for it, if the government could take tariff money and apply it to all kinds of community, the Black community, the Mexican community, whatever, and get those people out. Korea is good about this. Korea can build a whole city in the middle of a field. We watched them over a 2-year period, put the infrastructure in, build it to get the people out of Seoul, because Seoul's 25 million. They run out of land. They can't build no more because you got rivers in the way and the ocean, and they move people out. So they build a city for like 225,000 people to move in. And then they say, hey, store owner, we have a store here that we can give you on the cheap, and you can put a vegetable store in here. Oh, boom, boom. Or somebody wants to operate the movie theater in this town. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And to get people out of the inner city, and then they build transportation, which is a rail system. They built a train track through there, and it goes to Seoul if you have a job. You know what I'm saying? They're good at that. People should learn from that. You should use the tariff money to better the people's life in America rather than give it to some third world country for some kind of education purpose on transgenders. And you look at
that again.
What are they doing with my money? This is the frustration of all Americans when they finally expose the government for what it is. It is a social welfare hander-outer. Is that a word? Hander-outer? Because we were given, what could you do as a citizen if you gave a country for some BS $130 billion? How could $1 million affect 130 billion
Doesn't pay interest.
states? How could it benefit them? No, you want to do it for this cause. And it's taxpayer money. Actually, it's money we don't have because we pay so much in interest that we don't have no money. So if you got a dime in your pocket, you got more money than the federal government because there's 36 trillion in the hole. And we only produce $5 trillion in taxes, and they're spending $7 every year or more. So, guys,
please remember to hit that big thumbs up. Big Mike needs all the help he can get.
It is absolutely crazy in LA. Today, it's going to get crazy in a lot of cities. Stay home. Let them have their day. Let the police handle this. Pray to God that it is peaceful. People hold their signs and they can run up and down the road on their prescribed route of the protest, because you got to file, to do a protest. And you got to tell them exactly where you're going to be from this location to this location or in a park or whatever. And you got to have that done. An illegal protest is someone who's not filed with the city to do a protest. So stay home. Okay. Don't get caught up. Pray, get your knees dirty. Pray that sanity will come to all this. We will work this thing out. We'll get the bad guys out of the country. We'll help the good people become citizens. And I know a lot of people have emotional ties to all this. I got that. Okay. All of us, our ancestors, they immigrated to the United States. they came over on a boat. All my people came over on a boat. All right. I could do my genealogy back to Peter Locke, Colonel Peter Locke, during the French Canadian Wars and the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, but can you find all your brothers and sisters?
People landing in Rhode Island. My people came over in New York from Ireland. I mean, everybody that came here, even guys, now they're finding out that the indigenous people immigrated or migrated into the North Americas and the South Americas. Okay. Millions of years ago. They've proven that. Okay. And because hell, they uncovered somebody that they said, no, it can't go past whatever 20 million years ago. And they found somebody that was there almost 30 million years before than today. And they're going, oh my God, and you got to prove that. You got to prove that. And they proved it. So science isn't always right. Everybody took what they wanted when it comes to land and stuff like that. Were they thinking correctly back then? No. Were they selfish back then? Yes. Okay. We've made a lot of bad decisions. We've made a lot of good decisions. And you can't keep living in the past because you ain't going to change that. Okay. So anyway, guys, I'm glad, Paul, you came up. You're a great co-host. I don't know why some of these people in here won't come up and speak their minds, but we'll be here on Monday. Give you another chance, people. And then we'll have a morning talk with Mike on Monday and Fridays. So I hope you guys will come in here. Anything you want to say, Paul?
Yeah. If anybody wants to come up and talk with Mike, I will certainly just piss off and just watch.
Paul will piss off.
This will stop becoming the Big Mike and Paul show.
Well, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. So
I do know some people like that.
Yeah. Hey, Lindy Oki. All right, she's in here. Let me see if I missed anybody.
Midnight Vlogs just came in.
Yeah. Yeah, they dream of becoming an American. Yeah. They don't dream of this bull crap that's going on right now. I know that.
I think these cities that are going to get hit with these protests.
Yeah.
They should have the water guns ready. The water cannons. They should have them all ready.
Michael, I'm glad you came in, brother. Hardneck, there's Wendy. Miss Wendy's here.
They should all be filled with dark water. That way they can trace everybody that attended.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Now that they reenacted the death penalty at the federal level, we're going to have some room in the federal prisons, guys. Leavenworth's going to have some space available. Small studio apartment. If you're a criminal and you need a place to live, they got small accommodations, but you have your own toilet, your own sink, and your own bed. And guess what? You get 3 hots a day. And and a good view of the prairie. If you're so lucky to get a window, in your studio apartment at Leavenworth. So yeah, I'm all for that. If you need a place to live, Leavenworth could be the place for you. It's in the country, and you might enjoy it. I know Michael Vick liked it there. For some reason, he couldn't wait to get out of it. So. And all he did was dog fights. Yeah.
What's the punishment for terrorism from American citizens? That should be a treason charge, like it is over here.
Treason. Yeah, they need to do what they did before. Just put a blindfold on you, and you don't have to use people. You can just they can come up with a system with 4 or 5 pew-pews, and they load them up, and the computer angles them, and some people hits the button and then walks away, and then the cleanup crew comes in. I mean, that's what they used to do. Hanging's too messy, man. It's too messy. The whole lethal injection thing, it's too messy. Just boom. And what a bullet's 25 cents?
Yeah, but the soldiers need
That's what
practice.
you should do for treason, people that commit treason.
I wouldn't joke about deporting liberals. I'd say deport the bastards.
Yeah. Yeah, work those kids. You live on a farm, there's no child labor law. That's family survival. Yeah. But there are people in the world that would say, oh my God, like in Silicon Valley that run this platform. Oh my God, a 6-year-old driving a tractor. Oh my God, that's child endangerment in Sacramento. Well, it's not out on a farm. I learned to back a trailer up before I was probably 10 years old, a hay trailer, because that's what you have to do. Okay.
Yep.
So we got to deal with those people. And there's a lot of people that,
we have to deal with them, but it's about time we started shooting them. Send me a few guns over, will you, Mike?
I think your postal service would frown on that.
Yeah, I know. Not as much as the customs services,
I
though.
want to make sure I didn't miss anybody before we go out. There you go. Midnight Vlogs. Butler Family Farm. Michael says, I'm just joking about deporting liberals. Yeah. I mean, if we were all under one mind, man, it would be a boring place.
Yeah. It's Midnight Vlogs in
They would
England.
still fight. They would look. I look up there, and it's not just on one side; it's on both sides. I mean, there are extremists on both sides. If you're a middle of the road Republican or middle of the road Democrat, and you just don't agree with the far left and the far right, because they're all wackadoodles, okay? And you're going to stop a bill because I believe in something else, and if you guys aren't behind me, I'm not voting for it. Frickin' crybaby, you need to be voted out. Get some doers in Washington. People who are not afraid to get their hands dirty and do what's best for the American people. And if we can get those people in there, and I am just, man, I'm grinding my teeth for the vote in November. I mean, if anything happens, the way the support is going now is overwhelming to do what the president's doing now. If that reflects in the November elections, then life will be good. Because, guys, you keep sending the same wackos back to Washington. Okay? You send the same wackos back. Okay? You can find tapes of them agreeing with what the president did, a few years back. Oh, yeah, immigration, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course. And now they're going, oh, no. It is like if you ever see the movie Sybil, she had like 7 or 8, 9 different personalities. That's our politicians. Okay? They're idiots. But
I've got something to say before you cut off.
Yeah.
Your politicians, they're in there for bloody well. I mean, some of them have been in there over 30 years.
Oh, my God. And
yet the president, I'm saying over 30 years, but yet a president is only allowed to serve 2 terms.
Yeah.
Now, if he gets voted out before his second term, why couldn't it be 2 consecutive terms? So when he comes in again, he can serve the first 4 years and still go for a vote.
That's something I got to look at because I in the thing it does say 2 consecutive terms. You can't serve more than 2 consecutive terms, and they're saying that since there wasn't 2 consecutive terms, does he get a consecutive term? People are talking about that. I'm gonna have to do my research on that and see what it says, because I'm not going to commit to saying that he should run again because it's too. I need to get my facts together, and we might talk about that on Monday, because it's something. Now I'm not hiding the fact that I'm conservative. I would never do that, but I do think that if both the Republicans and the Democrats could go into a happy medium and be more middle of the road, they would probably agree on more things instead of retaliation. And it doesn't matter what good comes out of anything, we're going to retaliate against it. When you have that mindset, if that's the people you want to represent you, getting nothing done people, guys,
wake up.
You got to get smarter than that. You can't put up with that garbage. And if they're not doing it, get rid of them.
Yep.
You're the people are the ones that employ these knucklebutts. Okay? You can put them in and you can take them out. Okay? So get smart with it. Yeah, Trump 2028. I hope if it's true and he gets away with that, I mean, if there's a loophole, trust me, he's probably got lawyers on it.
I'm saying this, Ginger Snaps. She's finally come in.
Hey, Ginger Snap. Our little George Peach. Yeah. So I'll look into that. And sorry, we just got home. Oh, that's fine. All right, so I'm at the bottom of the chat, guys. Hey, we've been on here for a little bit, but that's okay. I had a lot to say, and I wish some of you guys would have came up and we could chat more and get your thoughts on things. But hey, you got Monday, and Monday we're going to be talking about something probably totally different. Who knows? But bring your coffee. And remember, our friend Eric over at Arizona AZ48 Coffee. This is the Lost Dutchman I'm doing. He's out of Apache Junction, Arizona, which was just south of my hometown of Mesa. So anyway, guys, we love you. Remember, be kind to one another. Help somebody in need. And always, always think of that. Guys, we love you. God bless you. Hey, and buy a coffee cup off our merch store. It's in the About page. Just click on it. You can get T-shirts. You can get cups. You can get mouse pads. You can get Sergeant Talk TV merch in there from my other channel. That happens every Tuesday, 8 o'clock in the p.m. Central Standard Time. Sergeant Talk TV. We talk to veterans. Okay? And we talk about...
you do that on Monday and Friday as well.
Veterans opportunities and challenges, claims, all kinds of stuff we talk about in there. So check that channel out also. And remember, MT Homestead, we're live every Wednesday. It's family night on Wednesday and hanging at the Homestead with MT and Miss Terrie. So guys, we love you. God bless you. Hey, and I'll see you on Monday. All right, guys? And I'll send you a reminder, by the way. So make sure you hit the little dingly bell and you'll get all the notifications. All right, guys. Love you. Have a great day. Bye.
Stay safe. Have a good weekend, brother.